I don't like the way that thing's looking at me. Or that RSAC advisory. Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to another series by yours truly, who's still recovering from a cold. It was great. Ben Koki, or Goki. I don't know who that is, but that name is really funny. So, we're playing Hexen. This was a game I loved to death as a kid, and loved to death as an adult because I hate myself. And it's not a lot of people's favorite, but it's one of my favorite games. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day, is I like it. I asked you guys what you wanted me to play, and you guys gave me some options with the classes, and I'll tell you what it is in a minute. So, this is Hexen. This is the sequel to Heretic. There's 3 mainline games in this. It's called the Serpent Rider Trilogy. There's only 3 Serpent Riders, so I guess it makes sense, technically. So yeah, Heretic was initially a Doom clone, which I believe it was John Carmack told the lead creators of it, just make Doom and then we'll figure it out. And that's what they did. So, Heretic, I love. It's a really good game. It's not my favorite of the Doom engine games, but it's still pretty damn good. Hexen, however, this is the big boy, okay? This is the guy that, you know, he says, hey guys, I got a sandbox at home. And you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, he's full of shit. It's just a big box with, like, dirt. No, it's fucking real deal sand, and it's not just any sand, it's kinetic sand, so it's really cool. That's what Hexen is. It's a big box of kinetic sand. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but it's really fun to me. So, Hexen is actually one of the most advanced games, probably the second most next to Strife on the Doom engine. And before we get started, what's my history with it? I actually played Hexen in high school, probably because I was like, dude, that is one metal as fuck name. And it means like Coven of Witches or something like that. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, it's the sequel to Heretic, so do I really need to explain the story? There's bad guys, they invade worlds. I'm shaking my head right now. It doesn't really fucking matter. It's very dark fantasy, which I love personally. I love me my dark, grim-dark fantasy. You see, if I was born in 1980s and grew up as a teenager in the 90s, I would be all up in that D&D shit, but unfortunately, I don't really care enough as an adult to get into it. But if this game came out, you bet your ass I'd be all over it. You know, it's an absolute wonderful game. Probably the most atmospheric game on the Doom engine game systems as well. We are running this on GZ Doom, so before you cry like a bitch about me using texture filtering, wah, cope, does it really bother you that much? It's on YouTube, it compresses the hell out of it anyway, so it would look like that no matter what. So get over it, act like an adult, stop using fucking DOS like a Stone Age Neanderthal, okay? Use a grown-up source port like GZ Doom, okay? Good. We got that out of our system. Wonderful. What else do I have to say before we get started? Hexen's really confusing, but I do know what I'm doing, so that's probably the most important thing. Let's see. Is there anything I really need to go off of? These are all my controls. It controls like Doom. It's got an inventory system. You know, all that shit, all that cool shit, map controls. Oh, GZ Doom has all these options, and it scares me, and I don't know how to use option menus, so it's really spooky, and oh no, I gotta search for shit. I can't, shit's not in there. See, there's no shit, results not found. Shit's not a problem, you're just a baby, grow up. Alright, so we're gonna be playing as Cleric, because most of you guys voted for Fighter or Cleric. My personal favorite's Mage, because I'm the, you know, ultra goth Chad. So, of course, I like the Mage characters in games quite a bit out of habit. But I do have a soft spot for Cleric. Cleric is probably the most busted character in the game. But he has the greatest gradual power curve. Fighter, pretty straightforward if it's your first time playing the game. Just go through as Fighter. And then when you're a big boy and you want to be a grown-up, okay, you can play the Mage, alright? I won't judge you for playing Fighter. Look at that beefy fucker. Oh yeah. He's only wearing that skull because the game, you know, can't handle all that glorious 4 inches of cock he's got. Alright. So, you've probably already noticed by now, What do you mean? Look at these D&D nerd stats. Alright, so every character plays slightly different. The mage is the slowest, but he has the most devastating spells in the entire game. It's debatable, personally, in my opinion, but he's pretty damn good. He has the greatest, you know, range combat in the game. Cleric is a mix between the two. He's literally half and half, I'd say. Mostly magic, mostly range, some melee. And then fighter, you get kind of, you know, range projectiles, but he's mainly a, you know, beefcake. So, yeah. I would love to play as mage, but you guys voted for cleric or fighter, so I'll make the choice and just say cleric. And, of course, our difficulty. This is also very important. So, just like old, you know, Doom games didn't really explain what the difficulty did, I'll do it for you. Okay, so each character has their own set of difficulties. So what do these mean? Alright, so first three, these all just, you know, add more. I think this gives you double mana. This just gives you, I think, least resistance, moderate resistance, most resistance. Okay, just adds more enemies. What does the highest skill setting or nightmare in this game do? Double mana, just like in easy. Because Doom had, you know, the same thing. This does run off of Doom engine. Double mana, enemy speeds doubled, and they don't respawn, but I'll talk about that later. So, fast enemies and double mana, if you're up for it, I've done it a few times, it's absolutely hell, but it is doable. The game isn't really built around this high difficulty, by the way. It actually breaks a lot of shit, so I don't really recommend doing it. So we're going to go on basically ultraviolence. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Look at this fucking game. Come here, boys, I got something to say. Alright, so without a doubt, Cleric has the worst melee in the game. And you're probably like, well, why do you like this character so much, Seth? If he's got the worst melee, oh boy, you don't know. If you haven't played this game, you don't know what I'm talking about. This is absolutely probably the most busted character in the game. Regardless... Okay, maybe Mage. Mage can pretty much trivialize a lot of shit. But for this purpose of the LP, we're going to be playing as the Cleric. If you guys really want me to, please comment and say if you want me to do this or not. I've debated it. To play through as the other classes. Without commentary and just straight through. I can do that if you really want to, because I am crunching on my Texas Chainsaw Massacre review as of writing this. So, if you guys really want me to, I can do that to fill extra time for when I have things come up. If you couldn't tell, I'm recovering from a head cold. It was really shit. It's not fun. My voice is still really not up to snuff yet, but oh well. So let's talk about what we got going on here. We got these big boys with two heads. They're called Ettins. They're the most common enemy in the game. There is not enemy respawning by default, like in Nightmare and Doom, only on Ettins. So randomly the game will roll, I think every like 2 minutes or something like that in a level, if an Ettin will spawn. It was initially designed to make you go, oh no, what the heck's going on, and to look around, but it ends up being more obtuse than anything, so just don't worry about it. What else we got going on? So we got those numbers down there at the bottom of the HUD, which I know is probably driving somebody crazy, but I absolutely love 90s games heads-up displays. They are so much personality. Like, and it changes for each character, too. Like, you see how we got gargoyles on the side of ours? If we're playing as the mage, I think those are skulls, and when you take damage, that little meter goes down to the other skull and it eats it. It's fucking awesome, dude. This game is so fucking metal. I love it, okay? This game is true cult, okay? So, what do we got going on screen? So we have life. That should be pretty explanatory. That reaches 0, I'm fucking dead. I don't think I need to really explain that to you. Now, the left of that, or sorry, the right, sorry, that's my blue mana, green mana. Those are the same image, by the way, just flipped upside down. Now you're never going to unsee it. In the middle of the portrait there is the current inventory item I can use. So we actually do accrue inventory. We have quartz flask right here, and we have flechettes. Flechettes change for each character. For the cleric, I almost called him the priest. No. So each character has a different flechette. which has its own varying usefulness. So for this one, it just explodes and this little gas comes out. This is actually very fucking busted and can break a lot of the difficulty later on in the game. For the fighter, it's basically just a hand grenade, and it can damage us a little bit. Which is, look at that, poison damage in my Doom? Oh my god, hold my beer that I don't drink. So, next to that is also that symbol there that's grayed out, looks like a fucked up spider. That's actually our 4th weapon. We have to construct that from scratch. And then we get basically a BFG. They're all separate for each character as well. And then AC is armor class. This is not fucking Thaco as wacko, okay? This is regular-ass armor class, so the higher the number, the better. Certain characters cap out their ACs, so Fighter has a higher AC, Cleric has second highest, and then obviously Mage has least AC. Essentially, the other thing that's different is if you're playing as a Cleric, you're going to get a different enemy composition. If I was playing as a Mage, we'd actually have more Afrits, those little bat-like creatures. So each character, fundamentally, the puzzles are all the same. The only difference is your enemy composition is slightly different, but you still fight the same bosses, all that Jim Jam. It's all good shit. Nothing really changes too much. I will say I recommend playing the game as the fighter first to get a hang of the controls and stuff, and then see if you want to play through as Cleric or maybe Mage. I personally like Mage the most because it feels the most like a traditional FPS game, but Cleric gives me that little kind of in the middle. So I do love this game a lot. If you couldn't tell, I have an absolute hard-on for 90s dungeon crawlers, okay? They are some of my favorite fucking game types of all time. So, since we don't need to kill anything, we'll just go ahead and proceed over here and continue.
Greetings, mortal. Are you ready to die?
No, I'm good. I've had enough of that a while ago. So, I'll say right now, this will be the intro video to pique the interest of those wanting to watch. And look at these fucking skyboxes, man. This game is so badass. Either way, I'll see you guys in the next one where we're going to do the first hub, the 7 portals. I'll see you then.